Hello everybody, my name is Travis. Welcome back to my dirty bench. Today we're working on CJ7. The reason we got the CJ on the bench today is because we were out crawling about a week and a half ago and my daughter was driving this and we broke part of the VFD mount, which is one of the upper link mounts. So we got some wiggle wobble. I tried to put like a band-aid fix in place, but we need to get a more permanent solution. Before we get into the fixing, I kind of want to go over some of the mods that we got on this thing. First things first is the fastback mod. It is literally just two suspension links that just so happen to be the same length as from this screw point to the end of the cage. And I literally just screwed them in. I put this rod end with no ball just between the cage pieces here and just sandwiched it in there, and that's the end of that. This one I just drilled a hole into the existing cage and put a screw through it with a washer, and bada boom bada bam, fastback mod. Next thing we got going on, as you can see, we got some 3D printed tube doors that I got off Amazon, I believe. John Furman with Tiny Truckin' RC hooked me up with these sheet metal sliders that bolt right into the stock slider sides, and they help retain the body. They are heavy, super beef. I did go ahead and round off this forward edge. I took a file to it just to make it a little less catchy, a little less grabby on rocks. Another thing we did was we put in the Samix shock towers with the steel panhard mount so that doesn't flex or break on us. We have deluxe shorts with standard Traxxas caps on them. I want to switch these out for the compact caps pretty soon, but it's pretty low on the priority list. The rest of what we have to show is going to be with the body off, and we'll do that just by removing the clipless body mounts from Fine Laser Designs. That clipless system works great with our Delrin machine bumper that we have specifically for the CJ7. Lots of approach angle and really good performance. It doesn't snag up on rocks, it just kind of slides over it, and I absolutely love this. We got some aluminum shock tower braces front and rear. We got a ProTech servo. We have a Fusion 2300 Pro. I'm a big sway bar guy, and I took some old axial sway bars from a Wraith kit, and then I got my own. I made my own torsion rod, and I just drilled some holes right here in the fender liners, and that holds it plenty sturdy. Works great. It's not, the torsion rod is really thin, so it's not like super stiff or anything, and it doesn't like limit its flex. It still articulates just fine. With these deluxe shorts on here, it sits super duper low anyways. So, I mean, as you can see, the links are flat at full compression, and they drop out and everything's good, but it sits pretty much all the way down all the time. The biggest modification that we've done is the VFD swap. Now, I got with Rob Matheny, and I purchased a carbon trans from him so that I could get the overdrive and the lightweight gears and all that stuff. This is just, this transmission right out of the gate is fully modified, beefed up, you ain't gotta worry about nothing. I did purchase the files from Josh for the mount that allows you to put the VFD in this, and that's kind of what our problem is, because when I initially installed it, I messed up, and the boss in the skid that this bolt goes through, I accidentally cut it off. You're supposed to cut off the other one. I accidentally cut off the wrong one. I have since replaced this skid, but now we have to replace the VFD mount. Also, we just have the stock links on here. I did extend the fronts because these links are just big giant turnbuckles, so you can just rotate them and they will expand and contract, so you can adjust their length. I mean, you will have some threads showing, but I have these, I probably have 3 millimeters showing on each end, and they haven't ripped out yet, so I'm not super worried about it. I drive this thing hard. We have an incision drive shaft in the front, stock in the back. We do have Vidavon axles. The rear, I haven't changed anything. The fronts though, however, I did retain the stock style axle shafts, but these are replacement, like dual joint isokinetic style, where they spin super smooth even when they're turning. They don't get the U-joint oscillations. And I did that. I used the stock axle shafts so that I could use aftermarket knuckles on here. These are Samix brass knuckles, and they fit on the housing just fine. You just have to use stock axle shafts because the Vidavon axle shafts are not compliant with this setup. You have to use their knuckles, and they're just aluminum, and they're light, and no thank you. So I just hodgepodge this stuff together, and that's where we're at for there. I also made my own panhard bar with
Steven Henderson.
I just did a custom bend right here to clear the servo horn, so that at full stuff, you can see how tight everything is. But at full stuff, nothing touches. We got a couple millimeters between everything, and this truck works really good. All right, we've got that taken apart, and this is the new one we are going to be installing. But this broke kind of in this region, and this part is pivoting in the chassis, so it's causing the rear end to wiggle. As you can see right there. Now this wasn't the part's fault, this was my fault, because I cut that boss off, and it's part of what kind of holds everything in place and keeps it all strong. The design is great and it works really well. I've had this in here for over a year. My daughter was driving it and it broke. It doesn't matter. I'm glad to get it fixed. I re-downloaded the part. I repaid for the part, downloaded it, had a buddy print it locally. I had him print 5 of them, so if in the future it does break again, I can just replace it. No harm, no foul. So I am gonna have to remove this slider in order to get this part completely out. So all I'm gonna do next is I'm gonna remove the 2 bolts that hold the mount to the skid from the bottom, and then I'll be able to remove the screw that holds the link in, and then I'll just swap it out and put it all back together. All right, well, we definitely did not fight that at all, and it just went in super duper smooth. Just kidding, no it didn't. But that was also 100% my own fault. As you can see, we got the new part in here, fits great, links mounted up, everything's all good now. See, no more wiggly wiggly. So we're just gonna line our drive shafts back up, make sure they're phased the same as they were when they came out, which they are currently not. So we're gonna turn the drive shaft a little. There we go. Slide that baby in. Double verify. Nope, still one spline tooth off. All right, there we go. Now our drive shaft pins are aligned. If your drive shaft pins, where they go through the drive shaft, if they're not the same, they need to be. You need to adjust the spline interlock so that the drive shaft pins on each end of each drive shaft is in line with each other. That's what phasing your drive shaft is. If it's 90 degrees from each other, you're gonna get really oscillating drive lines, and it's just not good, especially when there's angles applied to the CV joints. So we'll just make sure our wires are good and out of the way. Put our transmission back into place where it should be. And now we'll just put the screws back in it, call it a day. All right, well, we got her all back together. Drive shafts are lined up. Wiring's out of the way. Everything turns good. Solid left to right again. For being a bit like a tall-bodied CJ7, this thing is super fun to drive. It's very stable. It'll surprise you. It'll really surprise you sometimes. But I think that's gonna do it. We've got our truck fixed. Now we can hit the trails on another day, and I might hit the rocks tomorrow. As you've seen before, we got the Vanquish Kilos with the locked up RC scale hardware on the lugs. You already know Bob Ross at the helm, driving like a boss. Let me see how low she sits. Oh, this thing's fun. I'm so glad to have it back. And then the biggest update is on Saturday, I am hosting a We Rock buggy comp introduction type event here at my home crawl area, the POIZD Playground. I just picked up a whole bunch of these scale cones, street drums from
Stephen Henderson,
and they look super good. I'm really excited. We're gonna be showcasing 3 different classes. We'll probably only run 2 at the most tomorrow, depending on who shows up. But I'm basically gonna show them the ropes of a 1.9 Pro mod. I switched over my 2.2 to 1.9s for example's sake, just for the event. So I ended up pulling these wheels and tires off of my Optic, and these wheels I won at Nationals out in Utah this year. It was part of the drawing giveaway stuff. So I went ahead and threw these RC 4-wheel drive IROCs with anti-foams inside on these wheels, put them on the Optic. So that's going to give me a perfect example for a trail mod buggy, pro mod buggy, and a 1.9 unlimited buggy. Kind of like what they are, what they look like, what they should be, what they shouldn't be, helping guys get their rigs legal. And so that in the future we can host comps here and other venues locally too. Our area in particular it's livening up, but I'm trying to light a fire under it. We do have some really good places to crawl, so I'm hosting an event. I hope to see a whole bunch of people there. I don't know who all's gonna show up, but it's gonna be at my house. It's on the Louisville Crawlers page if you want to go check that out on Facebook. Yeah, the information's all there. There's an event page in the event tab. I shared a whole bunch of photos today from testing. We ran a couple of trail mod courses, ran some pro mods. We didn't get the unlimited buggies out because I'm the only one with one at this present moment for the testing. Just laying out some courses, having a good time. So yeah, you can check those pictures out. I might lay some in here if you're all interested in seeing those. But today's video is kind of like a little bit of everything, but this I'm really excited about for hosting at the house. But yeah, so as you can see, we've been really busy, and we'll see you next time on My Dirty Bench. Remember, like, share, subscribe, stay poised.